Greetings everyone, Melderon here. Well, Phase 2 is coming out this week. Thursday, November 14th, we will both have the PvP Honor System and World Bosses starting at 11 AM PST. I'm very excited about this because of the emergent gameplay that will come out of World PvP and World Bosses. There's going to be guilds fighting to get these World Bosses down, then I'll create some emergent PvP, and of course, World PvP itself is just a great way for gameplay to emerge out of pretty much nowhere. You have PvP hotspots, you have people fighting for resources, ranking up. It's going to be a pretty awesome thing. However, there are two major things that need to be rectified if they can be before Thursday. And one of those things is the free transfers. So if we're looking at this blue post here, Monday, November 11th, which is tomorrow as of the day this is recorded, this is November 10th right now, there'll be updates to free character moves, and the following free character moves will be available. Now, if you notice, all of these here on the left here, all of these servers are high population servers, and many of these have a very, very one-sided Horde or Alliance ratio. I'm on Scarum. Our Alliance ratio is about 20% compared to the 80% Horde. Those are just estimates, but as you can see, if you're giving free character transfers, the remaining Alliance population could potentially leave the server. This is going to be a huge issue because World PvP without Battlegrounds is a significant part of the vanilla timeline, of the classic timeline. If we don't have World PvP happening, that could be a very detrimental thing to the game, and to me, kind of just ruins the experience of Phase 2. So what I think we need to implement here, if Blizzard can do it, is faction-specific transfers. I don't know if the infrastructure will allow that to happen, but I think it's something that Blizzard may want to think about before tomorrow. I know it's pretty late, but anything we can do to try to eliminate the faction imbalance becoming worse than it already is. By Tuesday, November 12th, which is 2 days from now, all realms will be at one layer, and this is the second issue. As you know, I don't like layering, but I want to show you a clip of something in a second. But before we get into that, I want to go back to the free realm transfers. Now, interestingly, North the Mage made a really interesting video yesterday. So North made this video yesterday. It's called Update Blizzard Implementing Faction-Based Realm Transfers ? And he was able to actually download the Lewis script of the new build that is potentially coming out this week. And in that script, there are arguments in the code that may give us some impressions that there could be faction-specific transfers happening. Basically, what North is trying to show here is that there are arguments in this script that have faction-specific text in them. So it could possibly happening that they're going to limit transfers per factions so that a better faction balance could be created, hopefully using these steps. So this is one issue, right? These free character transfers could be one issue that could severely hamper World PvP experiences on a lot of different realms, especially realms like Scarum and Herod, and maybe even Ferlina as well. I'm not really sure about that one. But the next thing I want to talk to you about is the layering. Now, of course, you know that we're dropping down to one layer on Tuesday. Scarum, my server, which is a very highly populated server, is already at one layer. We had a PvP skirmish happened yesterday. This is a stream from Defcamp stream. We had a PvP skirmish occur yesterday in Black Rock Mountain. So as you can see, this is our guild. We're heading up to Black Rock Mountain. I realize this is a lot of people. Total was probably about, I'd say maybe 10 raids full of players. So we're heading up to the breach here now, and you'll immediately notice that things start to lag extremely bad. And you see Defcamp here is trying to cast a spell and nothing is happening. Look at that. So it's just insane. Now if we fast forward this a little bit, you'll see that slowly we'll make it up the hill here. I'm in here somewhere as well, and it was just, yeah. So this is an issue, right? I'll leave this play and you can see what I'm talking about. I'm all for getting the servers down to one layer, right? I'm a huge fan of that. Having multiple layers is not really the vanilla experience in my opinion. But this is going to be rough if this is what all the PvP servers are going to be going through. This stuff is going to be happening every day, pretty much, especially in the middle of the week when guilds are raiding. I don't know if Blizzard can rectify this overnight, but this is something that's really a problem. We didn't really notice it on Scarum until a couple days ago when this was happening. But as you can see, this is kind of rough. So if there's anything that can be done from the server technology standpoint to increase the capacity and maybe reduce the load that this is happening. Again, I'm not a server technician. I don't know how this works. I don't think this is good for the game either. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place here, right? Layering is definitely a necessary evil for a very long time at the end of the game, but populations did not drop anywhere near what Blizzard thought. And we said this many months ago. This is a game that really compels people to play. Classic WoW is not a game you quit. It's a game you continue to play, and we knew that from 15 years ago. I mean, it's a game that players play religiously. It's a game that players care about, and this is a core element of Classic WoW, is World PvP. especially before Battlegrounds come out. So Blizzard, if you're listening, if there's anything you can do to try to mitigate this type of high load, that we can have a healthy PvP atmosphere. Oh, Defcamp just died there. Rip. But if there's anything we can do to help this, it would be really, really appreciated. This and the issue with the free transfers. If you are an Alliance player on Skyrim, or if you're a Horde player on a server where there's a heavy Alliance bias, which I'm not sure if there are, I think it's mostly Horde biases, please, for the love of God, don't leave. I think that hopefully Blizzard will eventually figure out how to do faction-specific transfers so that we can limit the amount of bias on a server, and I think just running from the problem is just going to make things worse. So if you're an Alliance player, stick it out. I'm asking you, as a Horde player, we need you guys. We need you on the servers. We need a healthy environment, and I have faith that things will get rectified soon. So that's it, guys. I just want to talk about these 2 issues with Phase 2. One of them is the free character transfers. Hopefully they'll be faction-specific, but I don't know. I mean, there is some evidence from North showing that it may be, which is beautiful. That's great, and maybe I'm just overreacting. But this issue is something that is currently an issue. These high server loads, this high lag, is something that's going to potentially really limit the amount of world PvP that can happen on these servers, especially in hot areas like Black Rock Mountain, Dire Maw, and other places like that too. Guys, if you can go to the forums, be an adult about it, tweet at Blizzard, be an adult about it, and please ask them to help us with these 2 issues. For the love of the game, for the love of Classic WoW, and for the love of Classic Azeroth, let's make Phase 2 and World PvP as good as it can be. Alright guys, keep on and grinding, Melderon out. Have a good one. Talk to you later.